Welcome to another edition of James Martell's Coffee Talk, where James, successful publisher, speaker, and author of Online Success for Non-Techies, talks frankly and openly with experts from within the internet marketing industry about strategies and techniques you can use to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand. Here's your host, James Martell.
Hi, it's James Martell, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk. I know many listeners are always looking for additional ways to monetize and improve the profitability of your websites. Of course, most of us do that very successfully using affiliate programs and Google AdSense. Some, myself included, have written ebooks and also monetized their sites in that way. Today, though, we're going to be talking about yet another option, and that is dropshipping. And I have two guests on the line who know all about this subject. One of them is james-nardell, who is an outsourced program manager for amwso-com or amwso-com. And many listeners probably recognize James because he joined us for Coffee Talk a number of months back for a discussion on how to increase your conversion rates using merchant-supplied video. James resides literally halfway around the world in Thailand. My other guest is peter-koizumi and is the marketing manager for shopster.com, a dropshipping company that makes available over 1 million dropship products ranging from electronics, children's toys, books, sporting equipment, clothing, and a lot more. And Peter resides in Calgary, Alberta. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with us, and welcome to Coffee Talk.
Hey, James. Nice to speak to you.
You know, this is probably such a good example of how small this world is becoming, since we have James way down in the land of Thailand, and Peter is literally just over the Rocky Mountains from myself, who is sitting in Vancouver. And I believe, Peter, you are residing in Calgary, Alberta.
That's where we are. Probably a little cooler over here than it is over in Vancouver, but we're starting to get used to winter again over here.
I would imagine it's probably, what would you say, what's the temperature there now?
Well, I think it's about minus 10 degrees Celsius, so it's bearable, but I mean, you know, the worst is yet to come, I'm sure.
Oh yes, absolutely. And then we've got James here, who's sitting in Thailand, and I know you've lived there for many years, James. And what's it like there in Thailand right now?
It's nice. It's looking like it's going to be a very nice day. Right now it's just 9 in the morning. And it's looking sunny, bright, and yeah, it's going to be a good day, I think.
That's wonderful. Let's, Peter, maybe I could start off with you. I know many of the listeners are obviously very familiar with affiliate programs, and that as affiliates, we get paid to refer customers to merchants who pay us a commission for each new customer that we refer to them. And of course, this is known as affiliate marketing. On the other hand, affiliates who have traffic, or maybe existing traffic, or in the process of building out a new site, or maybe even looking for a topic, all of us are always looking for ways to increase our income. Could you explain to us what is dropshipping?
Sure. So dropshipping in the simplest form is just the process of a supplier or distributor shipping a product directly to an end consumer. So to put it into context, in traditional retail, the retailer orders products from a supplier, usually in bulk, and basically orders that product, carries the inventory themselves, and there's a huge risk involved with that. Well, in dropshipping, which is relatively a new form of ordering, basically what the dropshipper or the supplier does is they carry the inventory until you actually make the sale. And once the sale is made, you place that order with the dropship supplier who will ship that order directly to the end consumer. So there's a lot less risk to the retailer in this model.
I know I was just down in Chicago with my wife Arlene about 3 weeks ago, and I was speaking at the Smart Beginners Boot Camp, and we had a chance to sit through one of the presentations And I think we were talking about this earlier this afternoon, and how it was a very nice woman who had explained in great detail for about 90 minutes on all of the facets of setting up a traditional, if we can use that word, online retail store, including sourcing of products, purchasing the products, warehousing them, inventorying them, getting the website set up, organizing the cart, setting up the payment details, dealing with customers, dealing with payment issues, dealing with refunds, dealing with shipping, and everything that goes along with it. And about halfway through her presentation, I remember I leaned over to my wife and I said, you know what? This is why we're affiliates. And I mean, of course, we need the merchants, and thank you, merchants, for doing all the heavy lifting. But as affiliates, we get a little bit spoiled because we don't have to deal with, collecting the revenues and purchasing the products and inventorying them and warehousing them and all the stuff that goes with that. And you and I discussed this afternoon that the drop shipping model seems to fit nicely in between traditional affiliate marketing, where we get paid to refer customers to a merchant, and then the actual merchant themselves, who actually handles the inventory and does all of the, basically the dealing with the customer and the handling of the inventory and everything that goes along with that. In the drop shipping model, then, what you're saying, just so I have this perfectly clear, because this is a relatively new concept to me as well, because I've been so heavily into the other ways to make money online. You're saying that the drop shipping company actually purchases the inventory.
Yep.
So they have the risk of the inventory.
Yes.
Then how is the transaction made? How is the product actually sold? What's the relationship between somebody like myself or an affiliate who has a website and a drop shipping company?
Yeah. So that's where Shopster kind of fits in really well. And I think just to step back a bit, we had mentioned earlier today or in our conversation earlier today, I mentioned that how affiliates really fit well with a model like Shopster, because of the strength of the affiliate, which is typically driving traffic to a website. And really, what the Shopster model allows affiliates or retailers to do is to let them focus on driving traffic to a website or to an online storefront, and let Shopster as well and the dropship supplier worry about all the order management side of things, as well as managing relationships with the supplier. So typically how the model works is that somebody like an affiliate who has a website can join the Shopster network, and they can create their own online storefront. And Shopster provides you with a storefront package as well as the network of about 130 different dropship suppliers. And from there, once you set up your store and place the products from the Shopster warehouse into your store, then you go ahead and market that. And so once a consumer actually orders a product from the storefront, that order is placed or gets sent directly to Shopster, where we have a team that places that order with the supplier. The supplier then goes ahead and takes the shipping information, ships it to the end consumer, and that process is all managed by Shopster. Once the order is received by the end consumer, we'll get confirmation on that, and what happens is the margin that the retailer set on the product is basically the profit that gets sent back to the end retailer. So it fits really well in that. I think we were discussing earlier today that for somebody like an affiliate or somebody who doesn't want to put in the amount of time and effort that's required to set up an online storefront, find their own products, and manage that entire process, can use a system like Shopster and really still make profit or make some revenue, doing what they do best, which is basically driving traffic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for example, then, I've got a cell phone site that I run of my own, and I was actually looking through your catalog today, and I noticed that you have about 100 and some odd cell phones available.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, you've got a lot of accessories, batteries, and everything, all the paraphernalia that would go with a cell phone. So in my case, currently, I monetize that site primarily through Google AdSense, and it does very well with AdSense, but I've been looking at some affiliate programs that have data feeds, so I could feed in the merchant cell phone offerings onto my website. But what you're saying here is, with the drop shipping model, I could actually do pretty much the same thing. I could represent those phones on, I guess, I'm just trying to get this clear in my mind. Would I put them on my site, or are you what you're saying is I would set up a second website that would actually become a retail store, or would I do both? How does that work?
Yeah. So if you already have an existing storefront, we have two types of customers. We typically have those who already have an existing storefront, and what we can do in that case is they can take the products that they want to sell from the Shopster warehouse, export it into a data feed, and insert it into their existing storefront. And then we have, again, the Shopster e-commerce package, which provides you with your own storefront, and you can create a store which basically you can, I mean, in your case, you could list different cell phones as well as cell phone accessories, and then link that from your existing website to your store. So it's again, I mean, if you have an existing website that generates traffic, I mean, we highly advise that you take advantage of that, and in many cases, I mean, you may have a website that may not be specifically targeted around cell phones or electronics or something that you're selling, but you can indirectly link that back. And what we have is a lot of, for example, bloggers who write about all sorts of different topics, but what they'll do is they'll help promote their storefront by writing about specific products within their blog, write a review, or just talk about, say, for example, the Wii Fit, which is a very popular item this Christmas. They'll talk about their personal experiences with the Wii Fit, and then they'll have a link back to their storefront. And I mean, it's a great way, obviously, to drive traffic to your store and make some sales. And I mean, especially when you already have a following of readers. And it builds. I mean, there's already that credibility factor that you bring to your store.
So essentially, what the bloggers are doing is they're writing an article or review on their own blog, and then they've set up a secondary site that is a store, and then what they do is refer to that store within their blog.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's very similar to the way we do things with affiliate programs. Of course, we talk about the merchants on our sites. And many of us have blogs. Some of us have more of the traditional information-type sites where we will create content around particular products, and then we'll feature a merchant within there and relevant products with links off to, in our case, in the affiliate model, the merchant who handles that transaction. And what you're talking about here is taking that same visitor and linking them off to a store that is actually owned by us or by the affiliate, and once that visitor hits the store and finds the products that they're looking for, let's just follow this path for a second.
Yeah,
we're all crystal clear on how this works. So let's say an affiliate writes an article. They've already gone through the process. They've already set up a store. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that's probably a relatively simple thing to do. We can talk about that in a minute. Let's say they've assumed that I've set up a cell phone store, for example. Now, on my website, I start covering off the phones, which we do anyways. We're always talking about the various phones that are being released into the market, and goodness knows there's so many different kinds of cell phones, you can barely keep up with them all.
Yeah.
But let's say we're writing about them, and we have various models of those phones on my cell phone store. Mm-hmm. So now we write about it, we link through to it, the visitor hits my site, clicks through, goes to my store, likes the phone that they see, hits the buy button, pulls out their credit card, makes a transaction, buys the phone. First off, who's collecting the money, and then what happens after that?
Yeah. So in that case, first of all, Shopster would collect the money. The money, and then what we do is we pay the supplier. The supplier drop ships the product to the end consumer. What happens with the margin, which differs from the affiliate model, is that in this case you set the margin of what you want to sell the product for. So, for example, in our store, if the cell phone is in our warehouse for $100, you could set that the price of the product to anything you like as long as it's over $100, and we can clear that back with us. We need to obviously pay the supplier the $100. So as long as you set the price above that, I mean, that's the profit that you're going to make. And so
if it was a phone that my price on it would be $100 and I wanted to charge $150, then I would have $50.
Exactly. And so what we'll do is we'll collect the $150, we'll pay the $100 to the supplier, and the $50 gets paid to you via PayPal, or we do actually still send some checks here and there for people who don't have PayPal accounts. But so we'll send you the $50 profit that you've made off that product. So once you go through that stage, I think I had quickly brought this up to you earlier this afternoon, is that once the consumer purchases the product, the actual consumer is owned by the retailer now. The consumer is not a Shopster customer. The consumer is your customer. So our customer is you. So we're working towards being sure that we get you the best deals for the products from the suppliers. But once you actually get a customer, that customer is yours to remarket to bring back to your store. Especially with online retail, once somebody actually has a good experience with you, the likelihood of them coming back and repurchasing is very great. And so what we do is we allow you to go contact your customer and remarket to them.
Yes. In the affiliate model, of course, we are always working on ways to keep ourselves in the loop when it comes to the customer, because when a customer comes to our website and we send them off to a merchant, if we're not careful, once we send them off to the merchant and they make the purchase and we get paid our commission, unless we've somehow kept them in the loop with us, meaning we've got them on our email list, or they're maybe a member of our website, or some other mechanism, great content, and all of the above, to bring them back, to keep us in the loop. So the next time that customer wants to make a purchase on a product similar or the same product, that they remember us instead of going directly to the merchant, where we may or may not get an additional commission. But we're always looking at is how do we continually earn revenue from our list, as we call it, or our audience. In this case, what you're saying here is that the retailer, the affiliate actually becomes the retailer with their own store without a lot of the headaches that, of course, the traditional retailers have to take care of, because the drop shipping company, a company like shopster.com, handles the collection of the payment, handles the shipping of the product, handles the payment of the profits back to us, the affiliate, or I guess in this case would be called the retailer. So it's I can see how it fits right in the middle of an affiliate program, and then the traditional online retailing and the drop shipping would fit very nicely in the middle. Does that sound right? Yeah,
you nailed it. That's exactly it. So, with us, the big thing for us is that we want our retailer or our customers to really be focused around, what's most important in online retail, which is marketing and getting potential customers to their store. And so we try to eliminate as much as possible, as much of the work as possible for our retailers. The other big component of online retail, which we actually take care of, is fraud review, which is obviously a hot topic in online retail right now for anybody who follows it. But we actually, for every order that comes through a Shopster storefront, it actually goes through our fraud prevention team, and they take a look at the order, run it through multiple different fraud checks before actually placing the order with the supplier, so that at the end of the day, I mean, the retailer isn't taken out for any money, which is a huge problem because, right now they're estimating anywhere between 3 to 20% of online sales are fraud. So, I mean, we take care of that level of security for our retailers, which is a huge benefit to anyone who signs up for a system like Shopsters.
Yes. The product line. Now, I've read on your website that it says 1 million drop-ship products ranging from electronics, children's toys, books, sporting equipment, clothing, and I think the last one was apparel.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about how you guys go out and source products and how that works at your end?
Yeah, so we have over 130 different suppliers. We have a team who are constantly looking for new suppliers, as well as working with existing suppliers to ensure that we have accurate data feeds, up-to-date products, working with suppliers on prices, and so we're constantly working on that, on sourcing solid products and ensuring that our customers have a good experience, obviously, when they're looking for products to sell. In terms of the process on how that works is that usually with existing, we have over 1 million different products, but we often get requests, and we highly recommend our retailers throw us requests in terms of different product lines. Mm-hmm. We only have a team of so many individuals who can look for products, so it definitely helps us out when a retailer is having success with a certain product line and wants to extend that product line. So we're constantly pushing our retailers to throw out suggestions on what's selling for them, and we send people out looking for different dropship suppliers for different product lines. So that's typically how it works.
I know both you and I have mentioned the word data feeds a couple of times here. Would you mind maybe just spending a moment just for new listeners that may not be aware of what that exactly is, explain a little bit how that works?
Sure. Well, basically what a data feed is typically an Excel file that lists has multiple different fields, such as the product price, the product description, the dimensions of the product, etc. And what that allows, how the suppliers typically, what they'll do is they will list all their products within one of these data feeds, and a system like a storefront will take that data feed, and you can import that into a storefront solution, and they'll be able to add products into that storefront. And so typically what happens is that when you're working with a supplier individually, what will happen is that they'll provide you a data feed, and you have to find a way to basically take that data feed and make it look good, I guess. And so the challenge there really is that when you're working with suppliers directly without using a network like Shopster, you're basically having to take those data feeds and customizing it so that it adapts towards your storefront solution, or if you're selling on eBay, then you have to set it for whatever requirements that eBay has. What we do is we'll work with our suppliers, and in many cases we're getting data feeds multiple times a day from the same supplier, and we're basically updating, we're re-importing those data feeds into our system so that we're getting, again, accurate descriptions, as well as the quantity or the inventory that they have in stock at that time. And so that becomes really important, especially during the holiday season where there's the volume of sales is so high. A certain supplier could easily go out of stock of a popular product. And so if you're not updating those data feeds on a regular basis, then what could happen is that you're actually selling a product that is out of stock. And so what Shopster does is, especially with high-volume products, is that we're constantly updating those data feeds so that our retailers have accurate counts on their storefronts, as well as for those who are selling on eBay, especially when they're listing on an auction. It's very important, obviously, to them that they know that there's a certain level of inventory for a product that they're selling, and that number is accurate, because if they sell a product that's out of stock, they're still going to be charged the fees that eBay charges for a sale, and not actually have a product to ship to their end consumer. And so it's really important that these data feeds be kept up to date, especially for inventory purposes.
You know, the other thing with the data feeds, one of my big hot buttons with them, especially when you're into products that are also, in addition to, you know, going in and out of stock, that the models are changing continuously, like cell phones, where they are literally making new phones, seems like almost every day. And it's a continual change of the features, the change of the different accessories. I would imagine everybody on the phone listening to this call or listening to it as a recording has probably had the experience of purchasing a cell phone, and maybe it comes with a cell phone charger, or you've had to buy another cell phone charger for it, and then you go buy a new phone, even though it's only the model up from the last one that you own, that the charger no longer fits. You have to get a new charger. So trying to manage that on a website, all of these different products and services that are continually changing, and there's literally thousands of them. What data feeds allow you to do is, once the data feed's installed on your website, in the affiliate program model, the merchant updates the data feeds, and that automatically updates all of the phones, in my case, or whatever product or service that you're marketing. All of those products on your site update automatically, so you don't have to do this manually and pull your hair out. And what you're saying, Peter, in the case of the drop shipping companies such as yourself, same thing happens. You guys are managing and taking care of that data feed to make sure it's accurate. But you sound like you're even taking it a step further, where you're actually helping to get the data feed installed on your retailer's site.
Yes. So how our system works is that all of our retailers connect to the Shopster system, so that once a data feed is updated, their stores are automatically updated with the most accurate counts in terms of, so for example, if they were selling the Wii Fit, and earlier in the day there was 20 with our 20 in stock with our supplier, but later in the day there's only 5. As soon as that feed is updated, all of our stores will be displaying that most accurate.
And that all happens automatically to the retailer.
Exactly. So there's no work that they have to do on their end.
Now, profit-wise, and you know, and the margins and stuff, we know as affiliates we earn anywhere from sometimes 4%, 6%, 6.5%, 8%, 10%, and up from there, depending on the type of product. Digital products pay more, electronics pay sometimes 2%, 3%, and you know, it's a wide range. I would imagine in your industry it's the same. But because the retailer, us, if we have our own store, is actually setting the price, or, you know, if you, again, back to the cell phone analogy, if the phone was $100 and I marked it up to $150, I'd make the $50. What are you seeing? And maybe we could bring James into this, if I could. And James, because I know you're dealing the affiliate end, and you're handling the affiliate program. So we're kind of talking about two things tonight. So I'm trying to keep them a little bit separated. So
right. They are certainly two separate programs.
Yeah, because we were talking right now about a drop shipping program, and then James, I'd like to get you in a couple minutes here to talk about the shopster.com affiliate program, because on top of the drop shipping program, they also have an affiliate program. That's what I'd really like to get some input on you. But if you would, because you're obviously very up to date on Shopster, and you know the affiliate model so well. I don't know if you have any numbers, and I know we didn't have a chance to chat today because of the time zone changes, so I'm probably putting you on the spot a little bit. But have you seen any examples of, you know, do we earn more money as a drop shipper in some cases, or how does that all work?
I would say really it depends. It's the answer, which doesn't really answer. Certainly, because you can set the margins yourself, if you can find the right products, and as you said, there's a large number of products in the Shopster warehouse, you can set very, very solid margins and make a very good return. So this really is the secret of things, finding the right products within the Shopster system. There's some groups of products, like electronics, for example, where the margins are slim, because in the entire industry it's challenging to have fat margins for these sorts of products. But then there's other more niche products where you can set significant margins, 10, 20, 30% on the base price.
So, Peter, then, back to Peter for a second. Thank you, James. Now, do you provide any assistance, any little hints and tips to retailers as to what's selling, what maybe they should be focused on? What kind of support does shopster.com?
Absolutely. We are constantly looking for which products seem to have good margins, and what we'll do is, we're comparing our prices to those who are selling the same products on eBay or Amazon, and we're checking to see what sort of margins are available. And what we'll do is we constantly update what we call our hot products page, at which we give full access to all our retailers. And then within our warehouse as well, you can actually we have different sorts that you can use, and basically one of them is actually our price drop sort, which is a great tool for anybody using our warehouse. And what that allows you to do is view the products that have dropped in price within our warehouse most recently. So that's typically a really good sign of when you do sort by that. Typically, that's a great way to find products with really good margins, because the supplier has just recently dropped the price on it. So if you take advantage of that price drop, typically you will make some margins. Yeah. Sure. So, but again, like James mentioned, it really does depend on several different factors. One of them obviously being the industry. So if you're selling electronics, you can't expect high margins, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of volume because people are constantly buying different electronics online. But the other thing is, again, that simple supply and demand rule. And so you have something like the Wii last year, the Wii console, which was basically sold out everywhere. Pretty much within every retail store as well as online store. But we were able to source a supplier who was able to keep them in stock all Christmas. And so you have this supply and demand issue where everybody wants the Wii, but no one can find it. And so those are huge opportunities for you to be able to raise the price, make a nice profit margin on that sale. So it really, there's different factors that we constantly tell our retailers to look into, but again, it's a matter of spending the time and doing the research. And so that's what we want our retailers to be doing, is spending that time to do the product research, to do the marketing, and we'll take care of the rest for them.
Tell me about setting up a store. What's entailed in that?
Sure. To set up the store is actually it's a real simple process. We have several different templates that retailers can choose from. So what they'll do is they'll choose a template, or they can actually customize the template themselves. They pick the products that they want to sell, organize them into different categories, and basically from there, for each product that they pick, they can either set a specific price margin on them, or they can set a store-wide margin. For example, like if I want to sell everything at a 6% profit margin, then they can set up their store that way. So certain stores, if they were to set up a very basic store within a couple hours, they could probably have something that's quite credible and ready to kind of push out and start marketing. But a store that is a little more sophisticated, you could spend. I've personally spent days going back and forth on different things within the storefront. But again, it really depends on how much detail you really want to put within the store itself. So, but we've made it as simple as possible, just because we realize that the majority of our retailers are not going to be tech savvy, and most e-commerce retailers are not tech savvy. And so what's typically happens is that they're forced to hire a designer, they're forced to hire a developer to help them set up their store. And what we're really pushing against is for us to for our retailers not to do that. We've made it as simple as possible to set up a store, create a logo, etc., and spend your time and your efforts on the marketing side.
I know you and I had a chance to chat this afternoon about the drop shipping industry a little bit, and you were sharing a little bit about some of the things that you want to be aware of, or at least cautious of, when you're looking for a drop shipper. I know I did a little bit of a Google search here, and it's a new area for me, but maybe you could give some word of advice on how to choose a drop shipper, what to look for when he's out there searching around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, unfortunately, drop shipping has taken some bad press in the past, and the main reason for that is because there's a certain level of trust that's required between the retailer and the supplier, which was broken in the past by deceptive suppliers. You send them the money, you expect them to ship the order, and in certain cases they didn't. So one of the things is that when you are working with dropship suppliers, is a couple things that you can really do is, first of all, check the Better Business Bureau or Rip-Off Report. Most companies who have been in business for a certain amount of time will have a few unhappy customers. They'll post negative comments. But if they have a laundry list of negative comments, then obviously that should be a red flag. Ask for supplier references. When we work with our suppliers, we go through a very stringent process when we pick our suppliers. So each one of our suppliers goes through a very stringent approval process. But if you're sourcing your suppliers yourself, then ask them for references. And if they can't provide you references, then that should definitely be a red flag. And then there's a lot of different forums. I know that affiliates, obviously, there's a lot of forums out there for affiliates, but there's actually a lot of forums out there for online retailers, and a lot of online retailers have worked with drop shippers or currently working with drop shippers, and if they've had a bad experience with a drop shipper, they'll definitely let you know. So be sure that you look around for different forums, and I'm sure that if you ask, just be sure that you ask the questions out there, and it's better to be wary about a supplier than to fully trust them right from the get-go. So definitely do your research if you do decide to go source your own suppliers as opposed to working with a network of drop shippers.
I know you reside in Calgary, Alberta, which happens to be one of the places that's near and dear to my heart, because I had a chance to. I've actually been out there many times because it's only an hour flight from Vancouver here. Yeah. But I was out there 3 times in 2004, as I had somebody named Peter Jacobson develop and build my Shelby Cobra replica for me. So I was out there quite a number of times, and I was in there throughout the summer, and actually even at the winter one time, which is the first time I've been in Alberta in the dead of winter, and it was mighty cold.
Yeah.
But I noticed as well that you've got offices in San Francisco. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about Shopster, about the company of Shopster.
Yeah. So the company itself started in 2004, and we released our first the Shopster product in 2005. We are, as you had mentioned, our headquarters is in Calgary. However, we do have a satellite office in the Bay Area there. So, but again, it's more of it's a sales office, and the majority of the work is done here in Calgary. We've been growing steadily. We're at about the company. We're at about 30 employees right now, and we actually just recently moved into some new offices. So we've become much more of a software company in terms of office location. We're lucky enough to actually rent out the space of iStock Photo, and I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with iStock Photo, but they're one of the big success stories out of the Calgary tech space. And
I love. We talked about that this afternoon. I only love iStock Photos, a place where you can get very inexpensive, beautiful photography and audio, video. Even we talked about it today, icons and stuff now that you can add to your website. And typically where you'd spend a lot of money for photos in the past, now for $1 or $2, you can add just amazing images to your site. So there's a little plug for photos.
No, they've done a wonderful job, and they've made the lives of people, like marketers such as myself, a lot less stressful by only charging me $1 or $2 for a stock photo, as opposed to charging me $150 or $200 for what they used to. Some of these stock photography sites used to charge us. So they've definitely made my life a lot less stressful. And we're lucky enough to actually have moved into their space, and they have they had a fantastic space. It's a big open concept warehouse. So we're pretty excited. So we're constantly. We've been growing pretty steadily within the last couple of years, and we're hoping to continue to grow. Not only the number of employees, but we've been constantly trying to improve our software, and we're doing some really cool things right now. And hopefully, in 2009, we'll be releasing some really really cool functionality for storefront users. So we're looking forward to it.
Now, before I get James on the line here again, maybe you could just share just a couple of minutes on tips on how somebody could get started, or maybe have a look at your inventory to see if they've got a match. Of course, if they don't have a website that's suitable to your products, they could probably look elsewhere and see if they could find programs that way. But how would somebody get started with shopster.com?
For sure. Well, first of all, for people who are actually interested in finding out what sort of products we carry, we actually have a display of our warehouse on shopster.com, so you don't actually have to sign up to the program to actually look at the inventory. However, in order to see the prices of the products, you do actually have to access the application. And in order to access the application, we do offer a 7-day free trial. So anybody can sign up for the 7-day free trial. We do have 2 product offerings. We have what we call Shopster e-commerce, and we have Shopster product source. The e-commerce package is the solution with the storefront, and the product source is for those who are typically just selling on eBay or who have an existing storefront solution, and they just need access to the products themselves. So anybody can sign up for a free trial, and as long as if you decide that Shopster's not the right option for you, then as long as you cancel within the first 7 days, we won't. There's no charge to you. And I think I just wanted to quickly mention that again, if we don't have the products that you want to sell, then again, we highly recommend that you send us an email and throw out product suggestions. But there is the option to actually go source your own dropship suppliers. Again, it's an option, and one of the advantages of using a system like Shopster is that when you sign up for Shopster, you have access to all 130 of our suppliers. We do limit you on the number of products that you can carry within your store. However, the initial package will allow you to carry up to 1,000 products. So that typically satisfies most of our retailers. But again, it's one relationship to manage with Shopster to get access to 130 different dropship suppliers, as opposed to finding suppliers individually. So that's a big advantage for anybody who's looking just for a source of products.
Be bad. Before we get, let me just get James on the line here for a few minutes,
Sure.
and we'll talk about the affiliate program, something that, of course, we both know a lot about, as well as the listeners do, and everybody's obviously always interested in looking for new ways and new products and services that they can add to their website. So, James, maybe I could get you on for a minute. Maybe introduce yourself again for those new listeners and tell us a little bit about amwso.com as well.
This is james-nardell. We're an outsourced program management company, so we manage multiple different affiliate programs. Shopster is obviously one of our clients, but we also have people like Gaiam, Panda Security, Iolo. We've got about 30 affiliate programs that we manage right now, and basically help affiliates develop their sales. This is our remit. We only succeed when affiliates succeed. So give them all the tools necessary to help them build sales through the target affiliate program. We've been working with Shopster now for quite a while. It's about 3.5 years. So not since the very beginning, but close to it. And the affiliate program came out of the original. Originally we helped Shopster build a system, and the affiliate program came out of this. And this is a method to introduce the Shopster system to maybe your website traffic. Some of our top affiliates are Shopster retailers themselves, and we also have a lot of affiliates that have websites on e-commerce or eBay or making money on the internet, work at home, this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The actual Shopster affiliate program is there's two components to it. There's a lead structure where you get paid $5 per lead, and this is for every new customer that signs up for a 7-day free trial with a credit card. And then once the person purchases Shopster, there's a commission, a sales commission on top of the $5 lead. So monthly subscribers, they get affiliates will be paid $25, and annual subscribers, affiliates will be paid $70 in total. The program is run on ShareASale, and like all AMSO managed programs, we have all the tools that affiliates will need. We've got keyword lists, we've got content, we've got something we discussed last time we talked, which is affiliate videos. We've got a handful of videos that people can put on their site. One of them is fairly recent. It's What is Shopster, and it's a 5-minute video that goes through Shopster and how the system works. And why
that was actually, that coffee talk where you and I had a chance to, and Chris Anderson was on the line at that time as well, where you were sharing examples of conversion rates of 80% based on the video. So anybody that hasn't had a chance yet to listen to that coffee talk with James and Chris, I'd highly recommend that as well.
Right. So we've got a handful of videos. We've also got the Shopster demo flash presentation. This is also another good tool that affiliates can use. This again is an alternative presentation from Shopster, and it pretty much goes through what Peter was saying earlier on about how Shopster works and why you should consider using Shopster to make money through e-commerce, through the internet. So, yeah.
No, I was just going to say that one of the things with the AMWso videos, I know many people are using them successfully. Maybe you could just explain, because this is a little bit something new, and then we could probably begin before we part ways. I'll get both of you to share your contact information, if you would, so people can know how to get hold of both of you. But before we do that, you guys do something very unique with your videos, and I'm a big proponent of marketing online through video because, it's the old thing, a picture's worth 1,000 words. What's a 5-minute video tutorial or video presentation work? And it's not surprising that putting the right video in front of the right audience can produce such amazing results. One of the things that you guys do with your video is that you've got the affiliate's ID embedded right with the video player, so that if once that video is over, I believe, does it do a redirect directly to the merchant?
Yep, it certainly does. It's a very easy system for affiliates to use, and it works through all of the major affiliate networks. For example, if you go to look at the Shopster videos, for example, this affiliate program is run on the ShareASale network. So you are sent to a page which shows the video, and there's a little box, and you insert your ShareASale ID code, your unique affiliate ID code, into the box. You click on the Get Code button, and then the resulting JavaScript you put into your website, and this is for the video, and obviously the video contains the link, which has your affiliate ID embedded into the link. It's a very smart system, and it is extremely easy to use. It's literally 2 clicks, and you can have a video up and running on your site literally within a minute.
Yes, no, that's beautiful.
And if you've got high-quality video, it really does go a long way to pre-sell the product. Maybe another example might be Gaiam, for example. We've got lots of yoga and Pilates videos which highlight the Gaiam products, and I mean it's certainly important to use copy that pre-sells the product, but once your visitors actually see part of the product through video, part of the DVD, this is usually the thing that closes the sales, because they've read about it, they're interested, they see the video, they get a taste of what they're going to get when they buy the DVD, and this really does stimulate the sale. And we've got videos for a number of our clients. Right now we've got videos for Panda Security, Spiritual Cinema Circle, Shopster obviously, GT Media, which has products like Billy Blanks, The Firm, etc. Gaiam, South China Morning Post. We try to encourage all of our clients to use video to promote their products or their service.
Makes perfect sense. Now, before we say goodbye, maybe I could get Peter to come back on and just maybe take a minute and tell listeners that may be interested in the dropshipping program, who would they get a hold of and where would they find out more information?
Sure. If you do have any specific questions about the dropshipping program, I would be more than happy to answer them if I can. And I mean, we have a customer support team that does a fantastic job every day of answering questions like this. So, but I can definitely forward questions onto that team. You can get a hold of me at peter-koizumi at shopster.com. So it's peter-koizumi at shopster.com. And I'll do my best to answer any questions. And if I can't answer them, then I'll definitely forward them on to our support team who will get back to you.
And I would see that on your website they can go browse what you call Browse the Warehouse, where you can have a look through the products. I'm actually looking through them right now. I've been looking at a lot of the musical instruments, keyboards, a lot of lighting, speakers, and that's just one of the areas. So I can see everything's easy to browse for those that want to have a quick look around to see what's available. So, James, before we part ways, for those who are possibly interested in looking at the shopster.com affiliate program, how would they go about doing exactly that?
Best way is to get in contact with me by email. My email address is james at shopster.com. My other email address is james.nardell, my surname, N for November, A-R, D for David, E-L-L, at amwso.com. If you go to the amwso.com website, there's a support site for the Shopster affiliate program. There's also a full section on affiliate video, and you can see all the clients you got and find all the information you'll need about Shopster. And certainly, if people get in touch with me, then we can schedule a telephone call and I can go through things in more depth.
Wonderful. Well, gentlemen, let me thank you both so much for joining me for Coffee Talk.
To learn more about James Martell, the School of Internet Marketing, and how you or someone on your staff can quickly and easily learn how to develop a successful online presence for your personal or corporate brand, visit theschoolofinternetmarketing.com. That's www.theschoolofinternetmarketing.com.